Okay, good evening, everybody. It's Randy Small, Whatcom County Weather, and we are live Sunday night, December 14th. Is that correct? I think we are ready to go here. A little bit late because I was setting up here last minute, helping my daughter tonight. She is a senior in high school and working on her senior pictures and yeah, what else? Working on yearbook pictures, getting that set up. So a lot going on. I'm going to get Facebook going here, and we want to talk about the weather. Hopefully, you can all hear me just fine. Uh, Hill Family Homestead says the bell is disabled. I'm not quite sure. We've had this situation come up before, and I don't know if Alex. Oh, maybe it's him. I think I need to wire up a loud bell to ring when he's tardy. I see. I got it. Okay. I'm like, what are we talking about? The dinner bell. Okay, yes, I was late because I was helping my daughter. So just working on her senior pictures this afternoon and all of that. So hopefully Facebook is going now. Looks like it is. So I know we again have Hill Family is saying the notification bell is disabled. Alex, we had this problem before, didn't we? Did you remember what happened with that notification bell disablement problem? Anyway, okay. We'll try to figure that out, and I'm not sure why it's disabled, but I'm glad you're here. Make sure you like the stream here on Facebook on YouTube, and also love on Facebook. And of course, subscribe if you haven't, and on, the same old thing that we talk about every time, correct? But glad to have you aboard here tonight. Let's go ahead and look at the, real quick, we want to look at how warm it is. And we see that it is in the 50s. In fact, let me take off the wind here, and you can see the temps. Hopefully, let me pull this back just a tad. But we got 57 degrees at Bellingham Airport. That is the max temps. It's midnight. And let me think here. I want to find out real quick what the record temp for day. Let's just take a quick look at that. This is off the cuff here. It is the 14th, right? Okay, I think it is. And the max temp today is 63. So we're nowhere close to that. And the max, 63. So I don't know that we would hit that in the next few hours, but because we have the south wind, as I go back here, we got a 57, 57, all bunch of 50s. Everybody in the 50s, and not the 19 or 1850s. We're just in the 50s. 49 here up in, up towards Maple Falls area. But elsewhere, it's all pretty warm tonight, especially for December. And then we put in the wind gusts here, and it's 23 miles an hour at the airport. Let's see, 31 miles an hour has been the max gust today. So, yeah, and we're going to show you the wind advisory in just a minute. Not much wind out here in the North County. In fact, I think there's probably a little battle of north wind here across the border. Yeah, we'll see the southerlies for sure tomorrow pick up, and it is 40 degrees at Heather Meadows. And we will check that over here at the snow map, or the Mount Baker ski area. It's actually run by the Northwest Avalanche Center. And they are confirming at the 7 o'clock hour, and actually now I have to refresh it because I had this open before 8 o'clock. The 8 o'clock hour is showing 40 degrees, 36 at Pandome. And not much to speak about snow currently up there, but we are going to talk about that in just a minute because that is about to change when we get through this next little run. The reason also I was late was for some strange reason I was having a problem getting my radar scope to come up here, and so I'm going to turn on my display capture and pull up radar scope, not in a window, just on the whole thing here. Yeah, and we will talk about the wind here in just a minute as well. So we got a lot to talk about. Of course, the biggest thing being the flooding, although the wind may be a story. But you can see we have some rain here as we go in at the 8 o'clock hour on Sunday night, December 14th, 2025. And you can see that precip starting to pick up here. And that's pretty much what we were thinking, later today afternoon. And I know there was some precip and showers off and on. I've been hearing that up in the foothills. But you can see that, stronger precip starting to, kind of show up in the bands here a little bit, so to speak, on Vancouver Island and coming on into Whatcom County. Some of this might get knocked back by the islands before it hits us. And you can see up here further up, up the island and, way up towards BC, and on into the mainland area, but really on the island, it looks like they're going to get hammered with precip. So, and then, this is set for Half Moon Peak up in BC. Let's just take a look at the Camano Island, generally called the Seattle radar, but it's really on Camano Island, and we put it into motion here. And not a ton of precip yet. It's more kind of up by us or up the north, but that will, probably fill in. But I think BC is actually going to be a harder hit area this time around, and I'll try to show you that in just a little bit. And then if we hit the coastal radar out here, the coastal radar is, you can see some of the stuff that's coming in as well. So we are, my wife came in and then she left. So that's kind of the story. The precip is starting to pick up. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, especially up here on the island and over in our area. So let's go ahead and look at a couple more things over on this other window. So I'm going to switch this back here. There we go. And that we're going to look at a couple other things here. Don't really need to look at the airport. Let's they got a little precip today. So it looks like 0.02, maybe 0.03 total so far for the day at the Bellingham International Airport. And you can see on this pink here is the gusts, and they're all southerlies or southeast as far as I can see, but we had a gust somewhere along the way at 31. Must have been earlier today. I'm trying to find that gust of 31. But anyway, here's a gust of 29. There's a gust of 30. Anyway, we saw that a little bit ago. And then let's just I know you're here to find out about how much rain, but I'm just quick going over. We have a total of 4.61 inches of precip. Average is 4.33. We're well over the average, and tomorrow we are really going to go well over the average. So we will touch on that in just a moment. So let's go ahead and take a look at the river gauges because that's important. And then I'm going to look at the precip amounts coming tomorrow, and then we're going to look at snow levels. So kind of do it in that order here as I turn this over back to my display capture, as I just ran out of time getting this all set up today. So I apologize. I'm trying to have this set up better, but it just didn't happen here. So we're looking at the Nooksack here. We have, it appears to be fairly good news at this point, barring something I'm missing and then these forecasters are missing. We are under a flood watch. You can kind of see where we are under that, but we have a green box and a green circle. That's a good thing. Even a yellow box and a green circle. The green circle is current conditions. The green box is what is the highest level on the forecast. So when we take a look at Cedarville, which appears to have broken the record here for height, as far as we know, at 150 point something, but it's over the 2021 flood. I think it's a 150.49. So that broke the record as far as we know. Of course, there's going to be varying issues about if that was really a record, and it's unofficial as of now. But here it is. We are sitting back down to under 142. That's good. I think the thing before the first bump on the last, we had two bumps. We actually will have two bumps on this one. But we had two bumps on the last round, which gave us the second bump, hit us hard. But the first bump started, I thought, around 142. But we don't have, we have basically a little over 24 hours of precip before the snow levels come down. And I'm going to show you that. So right now, the Cedarville gauge is not even in the action stage. That is great news. that I'm seeing here at this point, that's holding. I believe if some of you joined on Washington Weather Chasers YouTube live last night, that's what I suggested as I was out for a Christmas party with my wife. He covered this. I went back and looked at his live a little bit, and he said the same thing. And I'm seeing that forecast holding. That is great news at Cedarville. And let me take a look at Everson, which is also in the green, but there is no forecast at Everson, and this is obviously a big one for us after last week. But and again, no forecast on this one, but we have, plummeted under 78 feet. We were at 86.36 was the high, which I did not break the record of 21. As far as we understand, it was more like 86.86, but still doesn't matter. Did a lot of damage, as so many are we know now. But as far as I can tell, this is keeps coming down. This is a good sign. Obviously, that's going to rise because there is no forecast on the Everson gauge, but we are at least getting under 78. I wish I could get this down to see this come down to 76 before we get this next round of rain, but we're running out of time. But that's okay. I think we're gonna, as far as I know, if Cedarville starts having, if Cedarville starts jumping, then Everson, we got to watch that. But again, I'm not seeing that. Let's check Ferndale, which really dodged another bullet, I would say, probably because the water went to Sumassa and BC. Let's pull up the full gauge page here. And we see Ferndale. Hopefully you're all able to see this, and I haven't messed anything up here. But we saw Ferndale not quite get to major stage. It crested. Was that Friday morning? Let's see. Yeah, Friday morning or late Thursday night even. And then it's down to 10.89. 10.89 feet. And then it's going to go up into action stage, hence the reason why we have the yellow box. It's green right now. Current conditions are in the green. That means it's below any issue stage. But the forecast has a little bit of a double bump here, going 60.63 followed by a little bit smaller one, 16.36, but both staying in the action stage and then back on down after we pass the 17th, so about Wednesday. But again, at this point, no concern that I now. And we always say this: stay on your toes, and I think everybody is after what happened last week, because I felt like early on last week that we might be okay, but when I saw again that first round hit us a little harder, and then the forecast just kept going up, and I'm like, oh boy, and again, you don't know how it's going to end. When you start seeing moderate to major flood, forecast numbers. But it even appears that this is a little lower than the forecast. Okay, the line doesn't quite match up, and it's in our favor. It's 10.89 and 11.16. That's kind of where it should have been. And you're like, well, that's not very much difference. That's only a quarter of a foot. Well, every little bit helps. And so, it's even below the forecast at this point. So that is what I'm seeing. Skagit, I know we have a bunch of Skagit people. We still have potential issues down here, but I'm going to make a statement here. It went way up. Let me see, get the full gauge page here just for concrete. And what I just want to say something. I know we can't see it anymore on this. Oops, I just did that wrong. Hang on. We can't see what the high point was from last week or earlier. Yeah, last week. But I know that both of these numbers, I'm pretty certain, are well lower than what, even though this is going into major stage. And also this looks like it's a little lower than the forecast. So again, maybe this doesn't, again, I'm not the forecaster here, but because that's still going down here, maybe this doesn't end up being quite as high. We still got double bump here again, Monday and Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday. And then you'll see the same thing at the Mount Vernon gauge here. I think you'll see the double bump, which sometimes is the big issue. It's not the first one, it's the second one. And both of these are going into this double bump territory, but this is 4.5 feet less than what it happened Thursday into Friday, whatever day that was, where I guess it was Friday morning early when it hit 37.7 feet, but we're talking 33. So, but it isn't even down. Look at the Skagit. It isn't even down below action stage, and it's maybe going to get to action, but it's not down in the green, and hence why you see the colors here. If I click off, is still in the yellow and orange, but no green for Skagit. It's just not enough time. And then you can just kind of keep using this page and you can follow all these rivers. We got more rivers heading into the red. But what you don't see, there's only one river that is forecasted at this point for in the next couple days to go to the major stage, and that's the Skagit. Now, I'm not minimizing any of these others in the red and the possibility of changes that could go up. But we last time when we were doing this, where there was like 14, multiple stations, 14, 15 stations in the purple. So we're starting off better. And for us in the Whatcom, the Nooksack, I just, at this point, am not seeing any red flags with this. But we're going to look at the precip numbers. I'm going to stop for just a minute and look at the questions and the comments. I'm going to start in YouTube. And I'll try to do this fast just because of time. I'm not going to greet everybody, but I do say hello to all those who said hi to me. And I appreciate that. That you could all hear me. Let me just, Slater Road, Adam says Slater Road's back open, and I did see that, Whatcom County Public Works, on social media about 6 hours ago, so somewhere in the 2 o'clock hour, opened that back up, and I apologize, I only saw that an hour ago. We had somebody come to Linden today that, actually, he moved here a couple years ago, and he does not know the back roads. He lives out on Gooseberry Point area towards the ferry dock, and he's an older gentleman, and he was trying to come to Linden, and but he also was trying to get to downtown Ferndale Friday night, I think it was, and he was like, I think he said it took him 4 hours because he was trying every option. He didn't understand totally what was going on, but he, and I'm thinking to myself, here's the route I would have gone, but of course he doesn't know the area like a lot of us locals that have been here a while. So, but he was able to, he figured out a way to get around today without any issues, but he was like, why isn't Slater Road open? And I showed him the tree over the road. He's like, I don't think it's the water. And I said, nope, it's this tree. So they must have got that figured out. So let's see what else. Breezy at Silver Reef. Okay. And we'll talk about the wind in just a minute. Mason went to school with my daughter and son. Okay. I am not remembering you, but unless that's not your name. Hi, Kevin. Appreciate your video, and I apologize because I messed it up and got it real small, but Kevin's the one that sent me the flood or the cleanup video, and for some strange reason, I put that up on the way to my wife's Christmas party. She actually was driving. I was not doing that while I was driving, and it turned out really small, and I was frustrated, but I just left it up. But starting to rain in Sumas. Before he headed home, he's been out there helping with the cleanup. Let's see. Tea Enthusiast says you can view the previous graph if you click on the lower graph below. Okay, hang on. Let me see that. Where's the lower graph below? Down here? No, that's the percent. Oh, yes, I see. I did not know you could extend this. Thank you. See? Always pays to have people that can help you, and now you're learning. And now I'm learning. Thank you. Learned something new tonight. Hey, appreciate that. Okay, so now I can see it. I did not realize you could move those. Wow, I got a lot to learn, and that's what we do. Okay, so concrete was 41.13, and they're forecasted to get to about 33.5 at the most. So, excellent. Yes, I will check the Everson Main Street camera, although I don't think we're going to see anything of water. Okay, hello from Linden. That's great. Sunday, hi, Randy. Hello back. Do not think, yes, there, Mason, you're asking about flood cameras in Sumas. The only cameras are the WSDOT cameras. If you go to my website, by the way, and again, we are going to have a new website soon. And I've got some exciting news, but we got to get it to happen yet, but it's getting closer. But I can't wait to reveal my new website. And I've seen some previews, and my friend is working on it. And we have some really good stuff if it can all work out. But if you go to road condition cameras on the website, and somebody complained the other day, they're like, where's the cameras in Everson and Nooksack? I got that. There are none. But I was trying to kind of put it by area in Whatcom County. Their only cameras are in Sumas that WSDOT has. And so you can kind of see Looks like everything is, as far as I can tell, does look like it's still wet. It's closed. It looks like they have a cement barrier, maybe, there in downtown, and it is showing rain here on the cameras. It looks like the road is wet. And of course, if we go back to the radar, that would probably show us that it's raining in the Sumas here. Yeah, there it is. It's raining in Sumas, and you can kind of see that on the camera. But those are the cameras in Sumas, so hopefully that helps. Okay, can you check the Everson Main Street camera? I don't honestly have this up. Let's see. That's not it. I'm going to have to find that. I have the Emerson Road camera, but I don't know if I know there is the one on Main Street, but I would have to dig that up. So I apologize. I'm not ready with that. So, okay. Is Sumas border open? I do not believe so. And I think if those barriers are in the way, it's probably not. Sumas, Abbotsford border crossing. I don't think it's open, but let me check here. Unless they've gotten it open in the last bit. Update pending, update pending, update pending, update pending. It appears to me that it is closed. Unless there's, there's no lanes even open as far as I can tell. And maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but as far as I know, they have not opened yet. Okay? So again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just trying to check one other place. But anyway, let's see. Okay, and then let me check the Facebook. I think this is pretty much over there on YouTube. Let's see. Up here. Jennifer's helping out on both. Bree says hi, Little Bear Creek weather, and she is joined here tonight. I'm sorry if you already left, but Bree, I've said this multiple times. She was the impetus for me to start in Whatcom County weather. Basically asked her if she thought it was okay. I kind of felt like I was infringing on what she had started down in the Bothell area. And she's like, go for it. And that was all I needed. But I would encourage, if you live in the Bothell area or North King, South Snohomish, to follow Little Bear Creek weather. Little Bear Creek weather. And even if you don't live down there, but you want to follow, she shares a lot of information from down in that area. But if you have family or anything, just give her a like. Give her a follow. She knows what she's talking about. And as I page, here are some other locals that, when I mean local, Pacific Northwest and Western Washington, that I would recommend, and I would recommend Bree at Little Bear Creek weather. So just on that note. Okay, let me go through this. Brenda says hi. Snow for Christmas. We will not look at that much tonight, and it is way too early to say. Okay, that's about the best I can say. That's Christmas is 11 or so days away. That's a long time between now. Okay, I'm really getting tired of the way Facebook is setting this up. This is kind of annoying. It keeps refreshing every time you guys put a comment. Okay, Joanne says hi. Should we be preparing for river flooding in Sumas? You know what? I'm tired of this. I'm going to go back here and use just my phone because it keeps doing this. And it's annoying me. So let's go back here because Facebook has a lot of comments. And then we're going to get into talking about rain amounts. Okay? So stick with me here as I kind of take a break and look over the comments. Okay. I'm getting them. Okay. Let's see. No more flooding. Yes, that's what we are asking. Brandy asked, should we be preparing for another river flood in Sumas? And I think I hopefully answered that already. As of now, I'm not seeing any indication that we're going to have an issue. But again, stay prepared. Stay prepared. Follow the page as you are. Check the page. In the morning, we're going to make posts. And we're going to make posts and we're going to drop those in the channel. If you don't follow the channels, I believe Jennifer put up a link to one of our channels. That's basically getting a message in Messenger. You can mute us and then just check it when you want, so you don't get, hear the sound or get the message, dinging at you. You can mute us. That's great. But at least when you go in, you check your messages in Facebook, you'll see a message from one of our channels. We have two. We have a storm channel and a regular channel. And currently we've been using both of them because we had a big storm. And so that way you can get alerted when we post important information, and you don't have to necessarily go to check the page all the time. That's kind of what that design is. So keep aware. You never know. Maybe we're missing something. Maybe these flood gauges, the forecast is off. So we just got to be prepared. Mel says, hello. Olivia says, for the rivers that crested and caused floods last week, how did the gauges get accurate info when there's still damage and erosion of the banks? So, Olivia, are you asking, let's see, for the rivers that crested and caused floods last week, we'll take the Nooksack. How do the gauges get accurate info when there's still damage and erosion of the banks? So the gauges, and I'm not 100% sure I understand, but I'm going to take a stab. So the gauges are firmly fixed into the riverbed, and it wouldn't, I don't think, matter. I know gauges have had issues. The 21 flood, there's been some questions about some of the gauges, but they're supposed to be attached to the same point, in the bed, and that's what they measure off. There's a point that they put them into, from my understanding, and they measure off of that. And so unless the gauge itself was damaged, I don't know, if there was erosion and damage, that there would be an issue. Having said that, I noticed, I think it was the USGS on Cedarville for hours. I saw them both Thursday and Friday on the Cedarville Bridge. I don't know exactly what they're doing. I don't know if they were taking numbers, taking measurements, but they were there with multiple vehicles, at least some kind of officials, and I'm assuming they were doing measurements. I don't know if they were looking at the gauge. I just don't know. But I'm, again, assuming that there's officials that watch that kind of thing, and obviously if there's a damage from it, they got to replace it. So, okay, let's see. Flooding tomorrow. I'm trying to give that information, and these questions came in earlier. Jonathan asked, snow at Baker. I'm going to answer that in just a little bit. Dee says she sees land at the South Fork. Good. Seeing snow next week on my app for Peaceful Valley. We will not discuss that tonight. We are going to get through this next round. Amy says, we are wondering if I have to pump out our houses again. As long as this gauge right here, this gauge is the critical one to watch. And we will also be watching, I honestly will be watching the one in Glacier. It is also, even though it does, you might think that's not a very important one. That is an important one. Okay. And now that I know how to do this, I can back this up. Oh boy, I might have gone too far and too fast with this gauge. Well, yeah. So there it is. It went to 11, almost 11 feet. It's at North Fork is only supposed to go under 8 feet. Okay. And I just screwed with that, but, move it back. So that is a good sign, and that is upstream basically of Cedarville. And so it is a telling gauge, as I said last week. So if we only go to 8 feet, again, does that forecast go higher? If we go higher than that, then we're going to need to start watching. If we're heading up to the 9-foot level, we're going to need to start watching if this forecast changes. It does seem it's a little under the forecast here too, which would match downstream what we just saw. But Cedarville is the all-important gauge. As long as this stays in, even it could probably get into the minor stage here even. I think we would be okay-ish. As long as this doesn't go much past 146.5. I don't know what's going on there if they just updated the forecast. Let's see, did they just update this? No, they have not updated the forecast. 219. So we haven't seen an update to this river forecast since 2 o'clock basically today. But as long as this stays in the yellow, I don't think we have any concern at Everson. And even if it got into minor, I don't know that we'd have much concern in Everson. I'm very hesitantly saying that. It's when we start getting up to moderate and above, oh boy, then we got to watch it. So we got a ways to go before, moderate sits at about, let's see, 100 Oh, what is moderate? I need to see the full page again. Anyway, we'll just keep an eye on that. It's 148 feet. Okay, it's moderate. This little graph thing is in the way. So, right now we're 3.5 feet under that. So, as the forecast. Okay, next. Yes, D, don't forget you on the South Fork. Oh, yeah, sorry. Let me hit you on the South Fork. I know what you're saying. Yes. Although, let me just say, again, I know it's North Fork and I know it's Cedarville, but and I know there's a South Fork. These two gauges are, to me, the all important ones, and South Fork is going to mirror that. But South Fork is green and green on green. That means we don't even get close to action stage. Earlier last week, we got to down there at the Saxon Bridge. Looks like we got to 8.2 feet. It's forecasted to go up less than 6. You see what I'm saying? I'm feeling like I'm hopeful and optimistic that we're in the okay, but we got to watch rain amounts overnight. We probably know a fair amount by 8 or 7, 8, maybe even earlier in the morning of if this forecast has changed a whole lot and how much rain came compared to what they thought in the night hours into the early, into the morning hours. So watch the page in the morning, but I'm optimistic unless these gauges are completely blown under. It feels like, and I'm seeing these things have come down. In fact, here's another way you could look at it. And I'm trying to couch this in two ways. I'm optimistic, but we need to stay prepared. If you go back to pre-flood or let's just go back to December. I'm going to even go back further. Let me just pull this back. So it looks like the North Fork was sitting around 2 feet at the gauge. It is now at 2.41. It's not quite to where it was before we started having, a couple of rounds. This was December 6th, and it never went down to the lower, and then it went up. There's our first bump, and then there's actually 3 bumps, but I could consider this basically one big one. And now it's heading back down to almost and we only have 1 round coming up. We don't have 1, 2. See, those are the things that what we should be looking at. Cedarville, you can do the same thing. Let's pull this out to pre-flood. Whoever helped me with this is very good because now I feel more comfortable talking here about pre-flood because I can see them. 139 was that, and we are at Cedarville, 142. So again, I would like to have seen that come back down to 139. But again, I think, again, it could get into action or minor, but at this point, nothing, the forecast is sitting below that at Cedarville. So good news. Okay, what's the webpage you're using? Judy asks, WhatcomCountyWX.com is my website, and we will have a new one coming up. Jennifer took care of Jenny's question. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate it. Brandy says she was at the Hawks game and gauge is accurate when they're still... Oh, no, we discussed that one already. Okay. And it's still closed. Okay, let's take a look at precip amounts. And now YouTube has a pile of comments, but and everybody keeps asking about snow. Let's go ahead and look at... I'm going to quick run the GFS tonight, okay? I just want to take a look at this for myself. You guys can just follow along. There's an all-important, this is an all-important little piece right here for us. One of the best things I've seen in a while on a map. And it's that, I keep going back and forth, it's that trough right there that's going to help us get snow in the mountains and crash those snow levels. I mean, they will crash before then, but that is a big deal. I am so glad that I'm seeing that. And then we got, looks like another one coming toward Thursday, Friday. And then kind of just a broad area of cool weather coming here. Not snow at the lowland level, although we are going to have to keep an eye on this right there. And then just kind of, I'm not going to go on from here. It's too far out. Okay, and it hasn't even run. But that's what I wanted to see. The Euro on the 18Z, put this into motion. Here's kind of our atmospheric river setup, and then hopefully that trough, there it is, swings on through. Great news. And then kind of that secondary one. And that's a pretty deep one, so that's good news for ski, for Mount Baker potentially, and that's the end of the run. Let's take a look at the GFS for precip, and now we're going to get into the all-important how much precip are we getting overnight into Monday night into Tuesday. And I keep seeing this good rain shadow on some of the weather models. So this is 6 o'clock tomorrow. We keep this into motion. That rain shadow fills in a bit, but it's still big-time donut hole there. And that tells me the orientation of this is, like kind of more that normal angled flow. And you can see the Olympics get hit hard. The Vancouver Island Mountains get hit hard. And up here in the Fraser Valley, or is this called the North Shore Mountains, get hit hard. And then as this is still probably mostly rain, even at the highest elevations as we go in late Monday night. And then that's when the crash is going to come with the snow levels. And so as we go into Tuesday, on this GFS run, it has less than an inch in the lowlands, more than that in the foothills, and 3 inches or so up in the mountains. I think our river can hold that. Okay, now this is not a high res, but it gives us an idea. Let's take a look at the Euro. Let's see what it's saying. You can see the Vancouver Island picking up, and then you can see the South Mountains, or whatever they call them, South Coast, or is it North Coast? Oh my goodness, those golden ears and all that stuff up there. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still recovering from a lack of sleep, and you can see how BC seems to be taking more of the brunt of this. And then, so this is getting into Tuesday. Now, the Euro is wetter for the lowlands. It's, again, kind of a low-res model, 1.6 inches. But the mountains is not quite so bad. So as we go in where the snow levels are going to start crashing. So some of this up here is now going to turn to snow. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to go. I'm going to pull up the HER, which is a high-resolution model, just to get an idea if I'm missing anything. And it runs every hour, but the 0Z runs out further. So let's just put this into motion. You can see the donut hole again as we go into Monday morning. Some light, some precip coming through. Now this is heading into 5 in the morning. You can see now that HER has got more precip up here in the mountains. As we go into Monday, the HER is advertising more than the GFS and Euro, but less in the lowlands. We haven't even got to half an inch as we enter Monday afternoon. And we're up to 4+ inches in the mountains. And now the snow levels would start crashing. It's interesting. The HER is very weak on precip right in here. The Whatcom lowlands, even the foothills, it doesn't look like a ton. So the mountains at the higher elevations would come in with a little more if that is accurate. Let's look at the NAM. The NAM, which was very wet last week, is also very wet in the mountains, but not much in the lowlands. Interesting. And you can see the Vancouver Island and all of this up here, with the snow levels basically being at 9,000 feet tomorrow. It's for a little while. I'm so glad the snow levels are going to crash. And then I'm going to look at the Canadian high-res model here. And that's basically showing a 4-inch, but then less in the lowlands with our donut hole down here, the rain shadow. So see how these lowlands are on the high-res models are being shadowed really good, but the mountain's still getting a decent. But I think we, other than the Skagit, and I'm not looking closely at the red boxed rivers that I showed you earlier, so I'm not looking, Snoqualmie and whatever, Snohomish, excuse me. I'm not looking at those, so we probably have to keep an eye. But I think there's a bigger story possibly tomorrow than flooding, and I'll explain that in just a moment. Let's look at, I'm going to take a look at freezing levels. Now, I did get this ready tonight. If I could just find where I put it. Yes, Jennifer will be proud of me. I've got this thing up with the snow levels at Heather Meadows, 4,200 feet. That's our point elevation. Hopefully you can all see this. This is an important map. Our elevation is about 7,200 feet at 8 o'clock, and that probably matches. We have a 40 degree and 36 at 5,000, and they're saying the levels are at about 7,000 or so. So that actually, if it's 36 at 5,000, is it, you go another couple degrees at 6,000? Maybe that's a little off, maybe it's too high, but anyway, that's what the forecast is calling for. If that was a little lower, that's even good for us too. But back to this, you see that snow level zoom up to about 8,700 feet, 8,900 feet tomorrow during the morning hours, and then it comes down to 7,800 by kind of noon, and then by 2, here it comes, crashing down, 69, by 4 tomorrow, 4,900, and by 7 tomorrow night, we are below snow levels at the ski area. And outside of a little time here on Tuesday, and these could be, this might change a little, we have low snow levels below the ski area all the rest of next through Sunday into Monday of the following week. That is low, sometimes down to 1,000 feet, okay, or so, or 1,100. And that means if we do get precipitation, that will be snow at that and above. That tells me something very important. And if you all saw my post today, earlier this morning, I left a post up. I'll go to the Whatcom County weather page here, and make sure when you come to the page, you read all the information, from that day. And I know in the flooding time, we had a lot of posts, but especially right now when we're not putting up flooding videos and stuff, photos and stuff like that, we were earlier. But I put up a post that said, Mount Baker Ski Area won't be a nice place to be on Monday. Gusts up to 55 mile an hour with rain heavy at times, but take a look at Tuesday night. It is forecasting on Tuesday night 16 to 22 inches at the ski area. Could the ski area open by next weekend? And when I said next weekend, I actually should have probably said this coming weekend. But, I'm talking about I'm talking before Christmas, okay? Now, note, I do not speak for the ski area. And you will note that the ski area came onto the page. Amy Trowbridge wrote a very nice comment here. Hi, Randy. Amy from Mount Baker here. Our GM, that's the general manager, has been communicating with the DOT over the past few days, and probably because of the road, Mount Baker Highway being closed, is what she's referring there. I'm thinking. Working with the forecasters, and we'll have a better picture this afternoon of potential if all the stars align, opening day. We will have an update on our snow report this afternoon with more info. On another note, thanks for all you do. Okay, and then there was kind of some interesting comments down here, okay, which I'm not going to address. So let's take a look at what the Mount Baker Ski Report put out today and see if they gave us any hints. Okay, now this was updated this morning, almost noontime. And of course they were above freezing at that time, and they're even warmer now because our snow levels are zoom. Good news. Forecasts are looking promising for significant snow at much cooler temperatures starting around the 16th. Well, what date is the 16th? I take a look at my calendar, and we are the 14th. 14th plus 2 days. I'm pretty bad at math, but I think I can get this one, is the 16th. We are getting more confident for Christmas on the mountain. We're looking forward to working with our partners at DOT to resolve any issues on the highway, to get you all up to the mountain soon for some winter fun. Now, they have not opened the date yet. I mean, they haven't announced an opening date. They don't have, they have basically no snow. If this forecast were any close, so let's pull up the Mount Baker forecast here. That is not the Mount Baker forecast that I wanted to pull up. Hang on. I do have it ready to go. I just got to find it. I have so many things opened here. Here it is. Okay. The Mount Baker forecast. Tomorrow ain't going to be good. 44 degrees is the high. You can see it's 39 and going up. Heavy rain and breezy, 44, and then it'll go down. So we have breezy south winds, gusts as high as 55. No new snow accumulation. But a lot of rain heavy at times. Not good. That's not what we want. Monday night, rain and snow showers becoming all snow after 7 p.m. Okay, we go back to our forecast. What time does it come down? 7 p.m. Oh, I see. Okay, let's follow this then. We go back to the forecast, and we see that the snow could be heavy at times. Somebody with a calculator can figure this out. Now, this has been revised down on the snow amounts, but this doesn't take too much. Monday night, 2 to 4 inches. Tuesday, 5 to 9 inches. Tuesday night, we're not 17 to 22, we're 11 to 17. Wednesday, 5 to 9 inches. Wednesday night, 3 to 7 inches. Thursday, the snow could be heavy at times. High of 31. You could just add in a bunch more inches. They need 40 inches or so, 20 to 40 inches, I believe. I know they have it on here. They need 24 inches, 20 to 40, and I got it. There's different types of snow, and that's probably why they have such a wide gap there. But when we go back to this forecast, my math, here we go. 7 to 13, 18 to 30, 23 to 39, 26 to 46. By Wednesday night, the forecast is calling for 26 to 46 inches of snow at the Mount Baker ski area. I do not speak for the Mount Baker snow ski area, but I can do math, and I can see that through Wednesday night, they would have maybe a decent snow base. I'm not saying they're opening Thursday. That's not what I'm saying. But if you throw in the heavy snow coming Thursday, and Friday snow, and Saturday snow, and Sunday snow, I would say there's a good chance the Mount Baker ski area is going to open sooner than later, as long as this forecast holds. And if you want to go over here and see this, and I'll talk about the wind next, I do promise. That is on my radar. Here it is. Mount Baker ski area, 36 the high today, which ends up being 40. No, it's not 40 up there. It is, hold on, what is the high? What did I just say the high was at the ski area right now? It is 36, but the high was 37. So it was off a degree. Whoop-de-doo. 38 tomorrow. Maybe that's off a little, but but look at the low, 29. That's coming afternoon or evening. And then the high temps are 33, 33. Lots of snow can fall at those temps, and it can drag that snow level down, and it'll be under 32 in a hurry. We got lows 28, 24, 25. This is just the Euro basic deterministic model. If you turn this over to the, let's look at the AI model, the ensemble of the AI, and actually I'm not sure if they have the total information. I'm just going to have to look at this Euro, not the AI. Sorry, no AI tonight. They're basically saying the same thing. And look at the drop-off. And then I'm going to take a look at the 12Z, which spits us out even further. Look at this. Look at this. Basically, look at this. And I'm not saying way out this is going to hold. And forget the 21 because that's that last day, and that doesn't compute for the whole run. But once you go Tuesday, every one of these numbers is 32 or below freezing. Let's take a look at snow amounts just for the Euro. And it's just to give us an idea. It's not going to be 100% accurate. Well, yeah, look at that snow plume. Oh, my goodness. The average, yeah, that's crazy. But we'll see it here. The total, that's a lot of purple numbers, which is good for ski area. Purple is sitting up here above the bar graph. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 members are below 4 feet of snow at the ski area by the end of the week. Okay, could this change? Absolutely. But, and will it be 4 feet? I don't know. I'm just saying this is looking good for the potential of the ski area getting going here sooner, before Christmas. I'll say that. And I'll let them make that because I have no clue how that goes. I'm just looking at some forecasting maps. So now let's look at the wind, and then I'll come back to questions. So the wind is a concern, and it is really the biggest concern, I think, tomorrow, in my estimation. Again, we're watching the river gauges, and we're optimistic that they're going to hold in the bank without too much issue as of now. But again, I remind you, please keep an eye on the page tomorrow. And while you're at it, don't forget to like the stream on YouTube tonight, and also love it on Facebook. And then also make sure you've subscribed. We have made strides, sadly through a flood, but in growing the YouTube channel. And really appreciate everybody that's helped me. And we have gaining hours on our watch time, and we are moving on up. So really appreciate that. Thank you very much for helping the YouTube. And please, if you know somebody that is not, maybe they follow on Whatcom County Weather on Facebook, where we're up to 63,000 people. Here I thought if I could have 2,000 people, I'd be happy. We are at 63,000 people. And even if they follow there, have them subscribe on YouTube. There's going to be some things that we can do on YouTube that I won't probably be able to do on Facebook, but there's, again, still working out some of the bugs. Let's take a look at the winds. Hopefully I've given this enough time to go out here on the newest model run. That was kind of what I was hoping for. Let's see, do I have the right model run here tonight? Yes, we have the 0Z. So let's take a look at, this was 4 o'clock. Oops, wrong. Nope. Come back here, wrong button. Okay, so there's our southerlies at 7, and we have some light flow. So this is pretty well adding up for what we just saw in the observation map at the start. It's continuing southerlies overnight, but not too much in North County. And then that's going to get taken over as we go into the morning hours. And this is why we have a wind advisory. If you want to zoom in, you see all those southerlies. The barbs pointing down means a southerly wind, a little bit southeast off the, out in the bay, and kind of off of Lummi Island. But, you can see that southerly flow. And look at Mount Baker, 55, I think that's 55 knots. 55 knots, and roughly, how many fives are there in 55? 11. 11 plus 55 is 66. I think I have the right color here. So you can see, unless that's 45, that might be 45 or 50. But either way, you can see why they're calling for 55-mile-an-hour gusts at Mount Baker. So there's some southerlies. I did not know I could zoom in this far. This is fun. And then let's go on in. And the only problem is I can't see the date. Okay, this is 10 in the morning, and this is approximate, but you can see why we have a wind advisory. Look at this south. Now we got some southeasterlies as later. A little scales back as we go in later Monday, so that question will come up. When is the wind gonna quit? Probably on this run later Monday night or early Tuesday. And then there's some more wind Tuesday. Won't last long. I don't know if we'll have another wind advisory. Looks a little less than Monday's. Well, there's some more. Yeah, Tuesday looks fairly windy, at least on this run. Yeah, we might see another wind advisory into Wednesday. Oh, look at that. There's a surge of westerly on Wednesday morning coming down the strait right there. And by the way, if you want to know something or realize something, there's going to be some major, well, I shouldn't say major because I don't know enough about the eastern side, but there are going to be some potential issues on the downslope wind side on the eastern Cascades. Ellensburg and Leavenworth, you can just see this. Let's see if I go back here. Yeah, I think maybe, is it Wednesday or is it earlier? But, here are some more. There's going to be some wind issues and power outages over here. Okay, when I'm talking about this wind, and I'm only going to go out through about Wednesday, okay, because we'll need to update as we get past that. But let's just go through Wednesday. It's going to be pretty windy and breezy the next few days. We have a wind advisory, okay? And hang on, let me pull this up. We have multiple things going on right now. We have a special weather statement, we have a flood watch, and we have a wind advisory, okay? So I've pulled all of those up. This special weather statement is one I want to highlight. Heavy rainfall this week will lead to an increased threat of landslides in western Washington. Because of the rainfall of last week, it's already increased the soil moisture. Additional rainfall of 2 to 6 inches is expected early this week. This amount of rain will put extra pressure on soil instability, leading to an increased threat of landslide and debris flow, especially from recent burned areas. The rain could act as a trigger for new landslides. Areas most susceptible to landslides are landslide debris flows Areas most susceptible to landslides, debris flows under these conditions are steep coastal bluffs, other steep hillsides, or road cuts in recent burned areas. A diminishing threat will continue for several days after. This special statement, I don't know if they give a time frame how long this statement goes. Let's see. I don't know that they do, but for the next few days, landslides, trees coming over, that kind of thing. So if you live on a hillside or just be wary of this. I don't mean to scare anybody. I'm just saying, be wary. And also with the wind, trees could come down easier. Okay, so places like Sudden Valley, up in the foothills, just going to need to be wary of that. And then, of course, we got our flood watch, and here's our wind advisory. It's in effect from tonight, 10 o'clock, until 10 tomorrow. So that pretty much matched what I just saw. Gusts of 45 to 55. Our ground's pretty saturated. So just be aware, due to saturated grounds from previous heavy rain, expect more widespread impacts with these winds. So please be aware of these things. So I'm going to recap. This is what I see. And I'm going to take and do something. I'm going to put a picture of my daughter up for you all to see that I took tonight. This is her going to be in her yearbook picture. And you can just look at that. I think that's all set up. You should be able to see that, hopefully. And then while I talk tonight, this will be my first graduating senior. I will have 2 more in 2 years. So I'm going to have 3 senior graduations in 3 years. So this is Abigail. And a lot of people know Abigail. She's very outgoing, kind of like her dad. But we were doing it out at Berthelsen Park this evening. But to recap, I'm seeing a fair amount of rain. Not so much in the lowlands. Could be 2 to 4 inches up in the foothills mountains. Yes, maybe a little more. With snow levels crashing around 7 o'clock tomorrow night. That's kind of the guess, where they'll start coming under that 4,200, down to 4,000, and then it'll just keep going down, down, down. With rain turning to snow up in the mountains, very breezy, windy with a wind advisory tomorrow, so it's going to be a nasty day. Although the rain, again, some of the high res versus low res models, and for rain are differing. Because the low res models seem to be higher, and I think it's the Euro. If I go back to the Euro, it might have the highest amounts in the lowlands, and often the Euro can pick this kind of stuff up. So there you see about 1.5 inches at the airport, but they have less in the mountains. I think I'd take more in the lowlands and less in the mountains, to be honest, at this point. So then that would hopefully eliminate the chance of river flooding for the Nooksack pretty much right off the top. But again, a lot of the high res are showing less down here and more up here. But we've got the breezy to gusty winds tomorrow. Potential of landslides in certain places. Roads could have problems. We've seen culvert issues such as Bakerview. We've seen Highway 2 go down into the river. And a bunch of other problems around. Now this is going to be exasperated with more rain, although you will see down south, maybe not so much. It's more kind of up here. I'm actually thinking BC, honestly, could have a lot of issues. And in fact, Tyler Hamilton on his Twitter pointed some things out. Let me pull his tweets up from today just to highlight the South BC threat, because I know we have followers from across the border, but Tyler Hamilton, of course now I can't remember his handle. Oh yes, of course not. He's got it under something else. Hang on. Oh, there he is. Okay, that's right. I know what it is. There is a small chance of waterspouts / tornadoes tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? And also, I think Jen put up something about thunderstorm chances, and we'll keep an eye on that. But he wrote earlier a fresh forecast for you all, and he's zeroing in on South BC. Okay, rainfall accumulation. Look at this in these mountains. I don't know what 200 millimeters is, but it doesn't sound like it's not. It sounds like a lot. Okay. I wish we could all be on the same page with these. I don't care if it's, honestly, the metric system's better, but 8 inches. Up to 8 inches, maybe more in the mountains. That's not a good recipe on top of what they've already dealt with. Not just the Nooksack water going across, but they had their own rain and other issues, okay? And so this is not good. But you can see he has us, more in this 30 to 50 millimeters down in the lowlands, maybe a little more closer to the border, 50 to 75, and then into the red, 75 to 100, and even more up into the mountains of Whatcom County. And he often shows the north part, and Tyler is actually a follower here on this page, and he's been on the page a few times. He's probably too busy now to join us most of the time. And then he also had a snow level map here. Excuse me, he had a freezing level map. I'm so sorry, not a snow level. And he has it tomorrow morning at 2,700 meters. Let me see what that is. It's got to be close to 10,000 feet. No, 9,000 feet. I was off a little. So 9,000 feet, and that kind of matches what we saw in ours. But then it comes down. And here he's got Whistler at 2,182 meters, and Cypress and Grouse, and Simon Fraser, North Van, which they get snow, when it gets lower, and Vancouver's at sea level. But you see it come crashing down Monday night into Tuesday. 1,600 meters is 5,000 feet. And then it keeps crashing 900, 800, 600. And that kind of matches. They'll get some snow. Whoa, I just got a lightning detection right now. Okay, interesting. I wonder if the radar's showing that. Let's see here. Hold on. Might be too early on radar scope, but I just got a lightning detection. Not seeing any. Anyway, back to BC. So I'm concerned about BC. I'm not an expert on BC, some of this stuff. I know how to read maps, and I know, I know seeing this is probably not good. And I don't know if some of this is through Wednesday morning, so I don't know, if the snow levels are coming down, some of this has to be snow. Okay? I think. I'm assuming these are considered the mountains. So again, this is not my, I know where Chilliwack and I know where Pitt Meadows and I know where places are. I'm just not an expert. And I probably should need to learn more, especially since we have the BC friends across the border, joining us on these lives. And they honestly have had to take our water again, sadly, very sadly. And it just didn't stop at the border. And it's just frustrating. I don't know what to say anymore. And I don't want to get into the discussion, but the reality is we have to fix something down here. And I hope somebody can get something fixed, whoever the somebodies are. Because I'm tired of doing this. And I think all the people in these places are tired of fixing their houses. So, enough said. But, I just, is there going to be some landslide problems up here? Yeah, flooding? Yeah, I just don't, I'm glad the snow levels are coming down. Freezing levels. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is freezing level, not snow levels. So the snow levels would be a little lower than this. I just remembered that. So, okay, I've yapped a lot here. Let me take some comments again. And again, thank you for joining. Okay, where was I? Back to YouTube. Iowa's open. Okay, enjoying the forecast. Thanks, Jen. Appreciate your help. Teeth, glad to help. Thanks for showing me the water level prediction page in the first place. And I spent time there. Okay, excellent. And honestly, you know what? We don't have a corner on the market of any of these stuff. This is now the weather bell maps I have to pay for that. I pay a monthly subscription. And so, but other than that, most of this stuff is public. And the more people that learn themselves, maybe I'm out of a job, I don't know, but I doubt that'll happen. But the better it is, the more people are informed in their own minds and finding out and understanding it. And so T, looking at the forecast NOAA flood map, has probably gained a lot of information. So this year, there's someone else that knows, and this is great. And this is the same with Keith. He's starting his tutorial in meteorology, and so he's learning, and he's been on the page helping us do a little moderating. We had some problems the other night when we had a lot of outsiders get on the page, and we needed to zap some people. Okay, Jen put up about the saturated ground plus wind equals falling trees. Please stay weather aware. Yeah, my neighbor says my kids are all going to be seniors. Well, I have a sophomore, junior, and senior. So yes, they weren't just born yesterday, but it does feel like that. Yes, helping BC and Abbotsford. I mean, I'm trying. Okay, Jen says the lightning was over Baker. Okay, but yes, I'm trying to include. And again, I am Whatcom County weather, but I don't want to be like, I'm just going to do Whatcom County, especially when we've gone through the whole area has gone through what it's gone. But I am primarily, that's what I know. It's where was born. I was born in Bellingham at St. Joseph's Hospital, and as was my daughter, who I just showed you. But I do care about the people across the border, and I care about the people in Skagit and Snohomish and King, and I care about them all. I just don't have, I talk too much. And if I went to over every river, I'd be here all night. Okay, highways were pre-closed tonight. Yes, I did notice that. I did notice that they closed, and I saw that because I follow a bunch of BC people. By the way, if you want to follow, and I know some people are not on X, I know some people are not on Facebook, and some people don't like, TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. But if you do, I have a Pacific Northwest Lower BC weather list. I will warn you, there are a couple people that are out of the area that I follow, some national people, but they are mostly weather enthusiasts, meteorologists, or people that generally know what they're talking about. And then some of the EMS people, like Abbotsford PD, I follow them because right now, we've had storm issues. So if you scroll down here earlier, actually it might have been Ryan who posted this. Let me see. Ryan runs a page across the border. It says BC Highway 9, closure starting at 8 p.m. tonight. And that's further up from Whistler, I'm pretty sure. Hold on, let me go back to this, because here's Drive BC is a great, and it's also a good website. So we have Highway 1 between Hope and Lytton. So that if there's any rock falls, debris flows, and washouts, They won't have anybody caught in that. Brilliant. And I know it probably makes people upset because they can't drive it, but it's better than losing a life. Okay? 10 p.m. tonight until Monday, December 15th. They must not be giving a time to open. Then Highway 99 from Pemberton further north, or northeast, I think that is. And so they're closing some of these roads just so that we don't have, 66 cars caught under a big debris flow or rock slide. So, okay. Flying reindeer not expected. Well, you never know, depending on if they leave their blow-ups up. Secure outdoor decor before the wind tests it. Yes, if I find a Frosty in my yard, I am keeping it. Just letting you know. Okay, let's check Facebook here. Let's see. Thank you for the stars. Oh, I did do something tonight because people have been asking. Let's see if I can pull this up. And I'm sorry I didn't have this ready. And I know I'm not supposed to do it this way, but I'm just who I am. But I do have, and I don't know how to do this, but I have created this Ko-Fi page for Whatcom County weather. Because stars that Facebook takes some of that, I have created that. If you did want a tip, that is great, but you do not have to do that ever to get these weather updates. I've held off on doing any subscription services because I want it, at this point, again, I keep saying this, free to everyone. And so everything I do is going to be free at this point to everyone. Maybe someday I have to change that, but at this point, I don't. So if you're inclined to give, I'll drop the link here, but you do not have to. And I know that's probably not the way you're supposed to say it, but that's the way I'm saying it. So you do not have to feel like you have to ever. But if you do want to, that's great. We thank you. And you can read the write-up that I wrote tonight. So appreciate all of you. Whether you give or not, I still appreciate you. Okay. So let's go back here. But again, thanks for the stars. Let me see what other new comments are on Facebook. Bring the snow to Bellingham. Jamie says, I'm hoping Nooksack doesn't lose power. Yes, that's another thing. That is, Jamie, it makes a good point. We do not, yes, losing power in Nooksack, Everson, and Nooksack, Everson, Sumas, and then, upstream, up the, where they had problems up Deming area, would not be good. But especially where they've torn out houses down to the studs and have cleaned out. And some of those things have already been done. I'm hoping that nobody in Sumas, even though at this point I'm not seeing any issues, I wouldn't I wouldn't finish any repairs, honestly. I mean, you could risk it, but I don't know if I would try to put anything back together until Tuesday, just to make sure. But I mean, obviously, I know I've said earlier I'm optimistic, but just in case we've missed something. So, but that's a good point. Hopefully no power outages. D does not want to have the snow, okay? It's too early for Santa to take flight, yes. Bring snow to Everson and Sumas. I'm not sure some of the people would agree with you, Dustin. So I'm trying to tread carefully on snow talk right now. How does wind look for the Nooksack area? Jamie is asking, and so hang on here. Oh, well, okay, I'll check I see what you're saying. Let me check the 1.3. I will do that here. A little bit even higher res model for wind. I think that's what is being asked of me. Hold on one second. Here it comes. Nope, that's still the 4K. Hold on. It's down here further. Okay, let me take a look at this. Okay, 4 tomorrow. I would say Nooksack could be fairly windy tomorrow. Zoom in on this. Sometimes trying to find exactly where Nooksack is at in the green. So 35 knots would put you at about 42 miles an hour. I mean, this is just that kind of rough. And then Yeah, there could be definitely some decent gusts tomorrow all over the place. So, okay. Thank you again for the stars. What if it has been logged? You mean for the wind? I'm not sure that I'm a little behind on these questions. Or if you're talking about the flood, so I'm not quite sure on that one. A few people saying hi. Okay. Okay. I think I'm getting through most everything. Okay. I think I'm through most everything. Um, yeah. We'll keep updating the page. And I'm actually going to look at precip amounts on this run as well on the UW here. Let me just look at that. Okay. So that's through 4 p.m. Wednesday. Okay, the UW has, actually, I'm going to bump this back just a little. This is through Tuesday afternoon. It has basically an inch, up 3/4 to an inch in the lowlands. Foothills inch up to an inch and a half ish to 2. And then up in the highest elevations is pushing higher. So, yeah, and I don't know. Let me push this back a little bit more. Oh, come on. So yeah, some of these numbers on this run is pretty high up in the highest elevation, like 6 inches of rain through Tuesday morning. Again, the snow levels are supposed to crash Monday early evening. So yeah, we need to still keep a look on this, an eye on this. So don't get caught up into saying, okay, we're done, we're out of it. No, let's get past this to be able to say that. So that would be my caution as I look at the high res UW here tonight for precip amounts. We just need to, just stay vigilant. That's the word that I want to use. Stay vigilant. Okay, I'm optimistic, but we have to stay vigilant. And again, check the page in the morning. So, okay, I think I am about done for tonight. Do I ask for any other questions? Okay, winds will probably blow around debris sitting out. Yes. Yeah, if there's debris outside, that's true. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention, and I do need to. One other thing is there are a lot of opportunities to help those in need, and I heard that the Friday, Saturday, I think it was it Friday, Saturday? People groups that came out was just fantastic, especially Saturday in Sumas. But if you check Whatcom Ready, and I honestly probably did that wrong. Okay, is it Whatcom Ready here on Facebook? They have a host of stuff to help people out. Okay, and just different stuff. Okay, we did have some elected officials in town on yesterday, so I'm hoping they can figure something out with this river. But here is looks like the debris drop off information that was yesterday. Stuff about that. So Whatcom Ready. Oh, it's whatcomready.org. And then there's a host. We'll try to put up a few more, but there was been different needs out there as well. And when you see that, hopefully they're reputable. We try to only post reputable or people that I know. But we'll have a few more of those. Maybe I should have put up a post to say list all of those, where that you've heard of needs or different things. But you can always check. There are some, the Sumas page. There's some, and some of these are private pages that you have to join. But hopefully the word's getting out as well. We will get through this. We will get through this. I'm confident. But it's been really hard. Again, especially for the people that were hit the first time, but of course even those who were hit the first time this time, it's still really hard, especially a little bit before Christmas. So but there are lots of options to help people, and check the some of the posts that we've put up. In fact, if you go back to our page, I think it was yesterday, let me get this, because this was a very important post. I'm gonna have to scroll back here just a second, but Jennifer shared a post about some of the needs, and the Whatcom Long-Term Recovery Group is also a very important thing. And yes, Samaritan's Purse is here, okay, they have a place you can sign up, but it sounds like they are coming. Okay, from what I'm understanding. My brother is very good friends with one of the leaders that came last time, but she will not be able to make it this time because she is working on another disaster out of, not here. But I did immediately on Friday morning put a plug in his ear, say, hey, and so they knew about this again early on. And so it does appear, according to what I've read, that they will be coming. But Whatcom Long-Term Recovery Group, another resource, and here's a portal. And then they had the intake day yesterday and then the work day. Oh, are they going to have another one? Okay, what is this one? Whatcom Flood Recovery Volunteer and Survivor Intake Day at the AC Advent Christian Church in Sumas. Their volunteers needed, help available. Please come at 10. So there's another opportunity coming on Tuesday. I don't know if there's one on Monday. Everson has I think they have their own, not their own, but they've been put something together as well. Let me see if there's anything else. Is this, well, yeah, we got one tomorrow, it appears like. And we had one today, right, as well. So check out Whatcom Long-Term Recovery Group on Facebook, okay? This is my old work. Perry Pallett donated some water that we put up the other day. Okay, let me just check one last time for comments on both places. Let's see here. I'm finding this so full. Okay, last thing. Thanks, Alex. But we will check in. If there is any important changes, I'll probably put up a short, if there were, I might do a video and just drop a minute video if it was really something that I wanted to get the word out. But check the page in the morning. And on YouTube, I can also drop that video. And also, I've started at Whatcom County Weather on Instagram for for storm videos and photos, not just storms, but videos and photos that we'll take, and we will use that on Instagram. There is a fair amount of people that are on Instagram that are not on here, I'm finding. So there's that as well. Okay, have a great night. Let's make it through together. Help your neighbors, and we'll see you on the other side.